episode 440 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. I will be talking all about tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. The Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament continues. Also, the Owen Hart Foundation Tournament continues as well. And Kenny Omega and Wheeler Yuta main event Dynamite right here, right now. 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hey Wrestling Fanatics, welcome to 360 Wrestling Fanatic, and tonight's episode, like I said in that preview there, we'll be talking about tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. And maybe get into a little bit of pro wrestling news after the recap. Hope everyone had a great Wednesday today. And hope everyone enjoyed tonight's Dynamite, which I am about to talk about right now. And let's get started. Tonight's Dynamite was live from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, at Rogers Place. The commentators tonight, Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, and Taz. And we start things off on Dynamite this week with a match in the Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament. And it is freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin taking on former partners known as Swerve in Her Glory, or at least one time they were known as that anyway. Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee, which is actually a pretty good tag team match here. But it is Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin getting the win in this one to advance. And instead of the nothing kicks, Orange Cassidy did kind of some chops, nothing chops, I guess you could call them, onto Keith Lee. And I thought Orange and Keith Lee worked pretty well together in this one. And Darby Allin, of course, was great. So was Swerve and Limitless Keith Lee. Like I said, Cassidy and Allin getting the win to retain. Swerve leaves, and then after the match, OC and Darby show respect with Keith Lee. And the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn are in 6-man tag action against the Bollywood Boys and the Blade in trios action. And the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass Billy Gunn get the win, picking up the victory in this one. And then after the match, on the screen, we see QTV's Harley Cameron talks about the rap she did on the Acclaimed a couple weeks ago. and says next week on Dynamite she will have a video of her own. And that will take place next week on Dynamite. And backstage, we see the remarkable Renee Young and RJ City draw some more names for the Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament, and Matt Hardy is about to find out his tag team partner, and his partner is none other than Jeff. But this Jeff is not his brother, Jeff Hardy. It is Jeff Jarrett, and they will be in action this Friday night on Rampage 100, the 100th episode of AEW Rampage. And they will be taking on the team of Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara this Friday night on Rampage. And our next Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament match is the AEW World Champion MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and his partner Adam Cole, baby, take on the team of Daddy Magic, Matt Menard, and the Butcher. And actually, I thought this one was a pretty good match here. MJF and Adam Cole pick up the win. And next up, on the women's side of the Owen Hart Foundation Memorial Tournament, the match we were supposed to see last week, but unfortunately Dr. Britt Baker was sick. It is Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on the Outcasts, Ruby Soho. And pretty good match here. Of course, there is a lot of interference from Saraya and Toni Storm. And Ruby Soho defeats the Good Doctor to advance to the semifinals. So there will be a new winner on the female side of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Actually, both of them, because Adam Cole isn't in the tournament this year. And our main event tonight, Kenny Omega in his first match since Forbidden Door, taking on the Blackpool Combat Club's Wheeler Yuta, and pretty good match here. And we see Don Callis come down to ringside. Security tries to keep him from getting involved, but while they're distracted by him, Konosuke Takeshita comes from the crowd and attacks Kenny Omega. And then we see the Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Castagnoli get involved, and they attack Kenny Omega, and then the bell rings, and then after the Young Bucks and the Hangman Adam Page come down to make the save for Omega. And then Hangman has the chair and is about to use it. And then at that time, the Dark Order comes out, and then commentators are signing off to go off the air. And then at this time, we see Evil Uno grab the chair away from Hangman Page just when Dynamite is going off the air. So kind of a cliffhanger there. Don't know what's going to happen next. I haven't seen any reports just yet after Dynamite has ended, what happened after Dynamite went off the air in Edmonton, but I think probably something will come out if anything happened, if maybe Dark Order got into it with the Elite or anything like that. So that was tonight's AEW Dynamite. Pretty good episode, I thought. I probably wouldn't say this was the best episode of Dynamite, but still a good one. And speaking of Dark Order and the Elite, they will have a trios match this Friday on Rampage 100. It will be Dark Order, Evil Uno, John Silver and Alex Reynolds taking on the Elite. The Young Bucks and Hangman Adam Page. Should be a good match. This Friday night and this Saturday night, AEW Saturday Collision got a big match taking place in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. On the men's side, Samoa Joe versus CM Punk. There was a pretty good video package tonight, and CM Punk has never beaten Samoa Joe, and I kind of think that this could be the first time. I think they're going to have CM Punk at least make it to the finals, if not win the tournament. But we will just have to wait and see to this Saturday's episode of Collision. I'm definitely looking forward to Punk vs. Joe this Saturday. Of course, last week's episode of Collision was down in the ratings, unfortunately. But it could have had to do with it being a taped episode. A lot of people could have read the spoilers, or possibly it being a holiday weekend as well. They could have went out or something and DVR'd it. I haven't seen anything just yet about how the DVR numbers were for this past Saturday's episode. And now, before I wrap this podcast up, to get into a little bit of news, Malachi Black of the House of Black has apparently requested to be strictly on AEW Collision, and he spoke very highly of Buddy Matthews as well. And Darby Allin says that Sting is doing great following that jump off the ladder through the tables on last week's Dynamite. So that is some good news. And New Japan Pro Wrestling has confirmed Wrestle Kingdom 18 or the Tokyo Dome in 2024. There's a picture of the logo online. You can check that out. And that is it for the news I have on tonight's episode. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. I appreciate everyone listening. And remember, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, or you just want to say anything, you can also leave your feedback of tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite in the comment section, either here on Spreaker or whichever podcast website or podcast app you listen to on. Also, if you have a company or a product or anything you want to advertise, you can right here on 360 Wrestling Podcast, 360 Wrestling Fanatic, and Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Just email me 360wrestlingpodcast@gmail.com, and I'll try to do a good ad read for you here on the podcast. Hopefully won't mess it up too badly. And I'll hope to have more episodes of 360 Wrestling Fanatic coming at you real soon. Also, we'll be back tomorrow morning for the Thursday episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Hope everyone has a good night tonight. Hope everyone enjoyed Dynamite. But until tomorrow morning, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.